Do you see that? Right there? That's the latest and greatest in the cycle of the RV trailer. The story of the RV trailer, part 4. That's what we're talking about right now. This has been somewhat of a long story about me purchasing this new Forest River Salem 21-foot bumper pull trailer in 2022. Purchased in March of 2022. Took it back to the dealership where I bought it 5 months later in August of 2022. They had it until the day after Thanksgiving. 3 months. Middle of August till late November. Just over 3 months. And the reason they had it was because of the slide room. Now you can see right there on the floor, the slide room is starting to drag and tear up the floor again. This was the main reason that I took it in back to them, because this slide room drags on the floor and it has torn up this piece of trim, which is loose right there, because that drags on the floor down there. You can't see that because it's dark, I'm sure. But here's another one. That piece of trim right there should be attached right here. So that piece of trim right there pulled off. It wasn't really damaging the floor down there like it did in the middle, but this is the problem they fixed it for when they had it for over 3 months last year. So now I have to take it back to them and tell them, I already emailed them about the water tank. I'm not sure how that happened. That thing just got warped or something. It almost looks like it was melted. I'm not sure what happened with that, but the slide room issue is back after 3 months in the shop for repair. And the reason I think that the slide room, because I had a couple of friends at a ham radio trade show I went to in Huntsville, Alabama last 2 months ago, and they said that this slide room is actually too big, and I think they called this a Schwin Tech system, something like that, Schwin Tech or Schwin system of some sort. And they said on a slide room this large, it should be a completely different type of system. And quite frankly, I think that that's probably right, because the problem with the slide room is it doesn't slide out evenly. It'll slide out kind of cockeyed, like the back will go out too far and then it'll stop, and then it'll be uneven, or the front will go out too far and it'll stop. So I have to tinker with it to get it in and out correctly, evenly. They said I could reset it by pushing it all the way out and as far as it would go, and then dragging it back in just barely until each front and back end started to move. And as soon as it started to move, a stop, and then push it back out again. And then it would kind of, you do that 5 or 6 times and it kind of resets itself. Well, that works, but you have to do it every time. So there's really no reset to it. It doesn't reset itself. It realigns itself to where it's even, to where it's all the way out or all the way in. Because one trip I had at home, it was sticking out this far on the front side, and I couldn't get it to go in anymore. So at least with that reset trick, you can get it to either go all the way in or go all the way out after having to fool with it for a good 10 minutes of back and forth with the toggle switch. So it really just seems to me, like I said in an earlier video, that this slide room, the motor on the slide room is too small and not powerful enough to slide this big slide room in and out. Here's my regret. I don't necessarily regret the trailer, but there was another model that I had looked at, and I think I mentioned this in the very first video, that was called I Bought a Trailer. And in this model, it has a jackknife bed and a dinette all in the slide room. This big, huge slide room that's here, which is incidentally the same size of slide room, maybe even a little bit smaller than the slide room on my Dutchman Coleman Lantern Edition trailer that's actually for sale right now. You should see a video on that if I haven't posted it yet. If not, then I'll post it soon. The second model of Forest River, the one I should have chosen. Now this one, when the slide room's all the way out, this space, this living area space in here looks very large. There's plenty of room to move around, plenty of room for stuff and whatnot, and that's really the reason I chose this one. But had I known then what I know now, I would have chosen the one. Actually, I probably would have chosen another brand. But if I was to get the Forest River again, the second model that I was looking at had no jackknife bed here at all. It had the dinette here, and this part was the only part that slid out. So the slide room would stop right about here, and this part would slide out with just a dinette table, which is right there, and that folded down into a bed. And then in the back part, it had dual bunk beds over here, and it had the bathroom shower combo over there, and there was this V pattern to it. So it just didn't look as big on the interior. But you know what it had that I wish I would have had now, besides a working slide room? Underneath the bunk beds would be right here, and it had a door right here with a slide out kitchen. Ports for a 12-volt refrigerator, which I own 3 of, and an outdoor kitchen cooktop stove area for cooking that, you know, pulled out to about here, maybe 4 or 5 feet out, something like that. So you had your outdoor kitchen cooking refrigerator area, a second refrigerator, not including the refrigerator inside, so it had a second refrigerator port in it. And that would be perfect for the campsite. For all the places I take this, I'm like, you know what? I really wish I had that outdoor kitchen area right now. Leaving aside the fact that the real reason that I would want it is because it would have a smaller slide room that might actually work with the motor they put on this thing. Now, I have to give Forest River a little bit of credit here because I bought the extended warranty from Forest River, and every time I contact them and say, hey, I've got this going on, I've got this problem, I've got this, they're very responsive. They reply to my email. I've got an appointment with them. Actually, I called them today. I'm waiting on a call back to try to take this thing back in again. But the problem is, I bought the trailer to use it. I didn't buy it to sit in the shop for 3 or 4 months out of the year. So disappointing overall, but I got to give them a little bit of credit where credit is due. They are responsive. They have fixed the problem, even though this slide room problem is now back, so they didn't fix it very well the first time. More to come on that later. Hence, part 4 in the RV trailer Forest River Salem FSX saga. What'll be next?